Hello everybody, this is Michael here speaking, and it's a lovely Wednesday, at least here in Estonia. Warm and sunny already, so the summer is, we can say the summer has arrived in Europe. So with this great spirit and emotions, we can move on with today's webinar. And today we will discuss about what has happened recently, what has been done in United Arab Emirates, and then of course we'll talk about the technology itself as well. For the next time, I will prepare for you a little bit different webinar. I will show more pictures and tell you, of course, about the technology itself as well. But today we continue with our traditional webinar, but with a little bit new news as well. So my name is Michael. I'm from Estonia, and I have been SkyWay investor for more than 3 years now, and these have been very exciting years because I have experienced a lot of great emotions. This path together with SkyWay has been amazing because I have seen myself how the development, how the technology has developed since the beginning. So as we know, it's not, the idea itself is not new. It goes back more than 40 years when the creator of SkyWay, Dr. Anatoli Unitsky, thought about the idea of going to the second level. And back then he already understood that we need to have a new solutions, new technologies to comprehend with new obstacles that will arrive in the future, because due to the growth of population and the amount of cars that are existing and the amount of people that go to live in the city, the urbanization, it is on, so to say, the process of it. So therefore the need is absolutely here for new technologies, for new solutions. The question is, will it be SkyWay? And today I will tell you about the main reasons why it will be SkyWay that will take the main market, the second level string transportation market, so to say. But at first, let's see something that has already been done in the United Arab Emirates. As we know, this is our second innovation and demonstration center. The name is Innovation Center, Sharjah Innovation Center. It's located in United Arab Emirates, about approximately 40 to 50 kilometers from Dubai. And this is the first line, what you see here. And this is the 400-meter track that is now fully working. And then the tests are going on absolutely every day and night. In order to certify the project, or not the project, but track and the models on the specific line. And then what else we have, as you might know, and if you are not yet familiar, then SkyWay is also building eco houses. We have one in Belarus near Minsk in Marina Gorka. The first one is there, and the second one is here in United Arab Emirates. And what is an awesome fact about this house is that this is first ever built wooden house in United Arab Emirates. So no company has done it before, and SkyWay is the first to build wooden house in United Arab Emirates. That also shows how great relationships we have with their government there and the authorities as well. And here is another angle. So the facade and the outerior look has been built, and now it's time to go to the details. But the main idea about this house is that it's fully autonomous, so it can produce electricity, water, and so on by itself. And let's see how it turns on. But this is great. And this is the tropical Unicar, the luxurious one, 4 seats. And then, well, I know that the sheikhs love it. They are absolutely well amazed about this model and technology itself as well. And now this is the latest achievement, about approximately 1 month ago, when they well started the testing of sea containers. This is the smaller sea container. As you know, then the bigger ones are about 40 foot long. This is the half the size. But well, they need some experiments and tests on this one line or well, monorail as well. But a little bit later, I will tell you more about these technologies. So now let's go on to the main part of technology. And as I mentioned before, the idea of SkyWay is not old in Anatoli Unitsky's head. So about 40 years ago, he already thought about that. But about 80, 90 years ago, there was a visionary who pictured this, what you can see on the screen right now. And already back then, some people, visionaries, imagined and understood that we have to go to the second level. And that's mainly because, well, if you think about the biggest cities in Russia, for example, Petersburg, Moscow, in Europe, Paris, Rome, they all have underground transportation systems. They have perfectly well developed first level infrastructure, buses, trolleybuses, trains, cars, taxis. Now there are self-driving buses also coming. At least here in Estonia, I know the tests and transport already runs in few places in short distance, but this is our future as well. But all these transportations on the first level do not solve the main problem, which is the growth of both population and the number of cars and vehicles, which will cause traffic jams and other, well, accidents and so on. So that way, well, that's the reason why we need another solution, and the only way to go is up to the second level. Well, humans have tried it before as well. For some examples, train on the left side, monorail on the right side. Monorail is, well, more widely used. I mean, if you think about the second level transportation systems, but it's not that widely used overall in the world. So it's not a popular technology, but it's you can see that technology more than, well, for example, there is more maglev, and then there is well, and then the trains. So there are not that many technologies which are, well, capable of doing good work. But monorail's problem is that it's very massive by its construction, and it's not that fast, and it makes a lot of noise, and it's extremely expensive comparing to, for example, with SkyWay. But in Germany, they introduced a few decades ago this technology. Also, I can well, I point you to the supports, which you can see on the left side of the picture, and well, there are these metal construction supports which have to hold the road above it, above. So these have to be after every 10, 15, 20 meters. So it's not that glamorous or beautiful if we compare, if we put it, for example, in the city centers or in the street. So therefore, it's done on the river. And of course, then we have, well, in China, we have this technology. This is basically a tram, upside down tram. So by technology, it doesn't difference from tram. And then we have these technologies which have these engines or wheels. Well, in first, well, end or starting point where they are basically turning, constantly spinning and moving the chain or the string on it. So the machines or models themselves do not move on the strings or chains or whatever technology they are using, but the mechanism itself moves, not the models. Therefore, they are very slow. Mostly we can see them in ski resorts all over the world. And then the last slide, then in Vietnam, for example, on Phu Quoc Island, there is the biggest one in the world. Yes, so, and then of course the metros. One example about the price, it was more than $1 billion to construct 1 kilometer of subway under 2nd Avenue in the United States. So, and that was quite recently, some years ago. And then well, it shows how expensive it can be. And again, bigger cities already have this technology, so therefore to build new ways, it's not that sufficient. We need some better solutions. And now I can welcome you to the new age. This is SkyWay, and as you can see, this glamorous, its stylish, it suits very well. And the monorail, which you can see on this slide at this picture, it suits perfectly to the conditions of the environment, both in cities, outside the cities, and so on. It doesn't harm the eyesight, so to say, at least not that much as well. If I have been twice in Belarus in Eco Technopark, where there are the first Technopark and demonstration and certification center, and after being there some while, I couldn't even notice that the line is going above me or 50 meters higher on the ground. So that's very nice. And now it's the main reasons why SkyWay is here to stay and why it will be successful. The first one is that it's innovative. Most of the transportation technologies that are in use today, they are made centuries ago, back from 19th centuries, most of them. So there is nothing new about those technologies, and there are other aspects as well that I will tell you briefly in this following presentation. But now I will show you the double rail, and why I like this one is, well, you can see it's more massive, of course, but which is great with this technology is that we can drive, or the models can drive both on the rail and under the rail. So there are like two sides. Comparing with trains or trams, there is only one side, upper side. On basically the rails are on the ground, and on the rails the model can, the tram or trolley or whatever, can drive only one direction at once. But here is, but this technology, SkyWay technology, this will double the efficiency, double the speed, double the duration, and so on. And therefore it's much more profitable. For example, if we compare it with, or not compare it, but if we think about transporting goods, for example, or cargo, which is where the most of the money is in transportation sector, it's transporting all this kind of goods and cargo. But the technology itself, it's quite simple, but it has never put together like Anatoli Unitsky has done it. Of course, patented in patented way by him. And this picture describes how it is done. It's very simple picture, of course. It can be much more complicated because we can even take different wires, communication cables, and so on through the track. The rail structure, but basically what it is, the pre-stressed strings are located inside the rail, and then it's filled with special filler and covered with a special metal covers or special materials, so it can reduce the noise pollution as well. And it is said that the SkyWay can drive about 50 decibels. The noise is about 50 decibels, so it's as much as I'm speaking or as humans speaking. So it's much less than all the other rail transportation systems we have today. And again, in Africa or where there is no electricity, for example, we can even take electricity to the cities and villages through with the SkyWay track structure. This picture I made back in 2019 at EcoFest. Last year it was in online format. Hopefully this year we can all go there again. If not, then next year definitely. Well, depends, of course, about the situation in the world, but hopefully we can go there soon. And then when the Expo 2021 takes place in Dubai, I know that SkyWay is also presented there, and hopefully it is possible for us to go there as well to see what has been done there. So these are the great news. But as you can see, well, after being a while there in the EcoFest, I couldn't even notice that when I walked there that the Skyway is riding 50 meters above. It suits her very well. It's very beautiful. All right, the second point is that it is ecological. Again, picture says more than 1,000 words. Take a look at it. It's just fantastic comparing with other transportation technologies I showed you before. And then the new sites and this technology or this model what you see above, that's high-speed unibus, and this one goes up to 600 kilometers per hour. It's under development at the moment. Well, the track structure just has to be about 30 kilometers long, and they are planning it in Belarus. Well, and depending if it goes well with the governments and the agreements that has to be made for the track structure to be built, then it will be built there. But if some way it's not possible to build in Belarus, then the another option where the land is already allocated is in United Arab Emirates, but it's much more expensive to construct it there. Therefore, the Belarus is the first choice, and it's just to prove that it can go on that speeds and to certify it again, and this will be revolutionary. And about the ecological aspects, as you might know, the 19th century technologies are using mostly producing CO2 by burning fossil fuels. SkyWay is fully electrical, so therefore there is no problem with CO2. And then we can even put the solar panels and wind turbines constructed to the the track structure and produce electricity. Well, the track can produce electricity therefore by itself as well. But another aspect is the wind resistance, and basically SkyWay is about 10 times has 10 times less wind resistance because of its shape of its body. And the another big aspect is that the wind can go under the SkyWay model. There is no road that can cause a screen effect like with cars, and therefore it's much less wind resistant. And of course, ecological aspect is this as well, what you see on the pictures. So a lot of money goes to maintain the roads, to construct them after a while, and so on. And for example, on the left side, you can see a train in the snow. Basically, what happens in the winter times when there is a heavy snowfall, the trains can be lifted by the snow. So therefore, special trains again are needed to clear the path for the commercial ones. So again, a lot of resources goes to maintain and to build and construct new roads. And there is no grass or no life underneath the road. And then therefore SkyWay is again capable of that the green grass and the bushes and all of them can grow underneath the track structure. All right, I will open up the second part of the presentation as soon as just a second, and here it is. Yes, and then, well, I already briefly described, but on the right side you can see, well, what happens at least in Nordic countries. I know in Finland and Sweden there are a lot of mountains, rocky mountains, that has to be exploded in order to construct the railroads or the car roads through the mountains. Again, it's another big sector there and another big business, but it's a lot of resources goes to do that. And on the left side, to construct new roads even if there is a flatland, so to say, then it has to be they have to dig about 5 to 7 meters beneath the ground to fill it with special fillers, so that the roads can be solid and the vehicles can drive on it. So again, a lot of resources. Comparing, for example, with SkyWay, which can go over the mountains, which only needs the land allocation for the supports, and can go directly from point A to point B. And therefore, in India, I know the minister said that if they, I don't recall at the moment what was the place from and to where it was calculated, but with normal cars, he said that the cars will drive about 8 hours that road. It was not that long. It was about, I think, 300 or 400 kilometers long. But with SkyWay, it's possible to do it about 2 hours, even less. So it's 4 times the time. It will take 4 times less time to do that. And of course, we can go over the rivers, over the seas, and then so on. So there is basically no obstacles for our technology. And this slide describes what I was telling you in the beginning, the traffic jams, the crowdiness which we have, and of course the construction of seaports, because SkyWay we can take up to 5 kilometers to the sea, build special plateaus there so the ships can bring cargo, and with SkyWay we can take the cargo to the mainland and back and forth. So, and therefore again another great solution. And some pictures here. These are now Dubai designs, or I mean United Arab Emirates designs, very glamorous, stylish, as you can see. So the supports themselves can also be modified as it's needed in special regions or cities. For example, in my city, Tartu, I know that the designers, when we went to talk with the government, I know that the designers said that they have to be somehow not just some supports, but with some kind of design, and they have to, well, it's a university city here in Tartu, and then therefore it has to suit very well with surroundings. Third point is safety. SkyWay is very safe. Many people ask me, and now I explain it to you. First of all, which holds it on the road is this derailment system and the motor wheel. So basically, if you turn it upside down, it still hangs or stays on the track. And you can read more about the detailed information about this in the book called 100 Questions and 100 Answers, which is made by Dr. Anatoli Unitsky, and it's free and it's available to find it through internet. Just search 100 questions and 100 answers. But what is more, we have smart intelligence systems, the cameras 360 degrees. And basically, if some object arrives in our path or in SkyWay model's path, it automatically stops and well, screens the surroundings. And if something happens with the Unibus, for example, in the air or on the track, then there is another exactly the same model, which has, well, all the models have these elements in front and in the end, in the back, which suit 100% or perfectly with each other, so they can be either pulled or pushed into the maintenance. And if the last solution is not possible, then there are well, like in helicopters, they have these straps. You can put it around your waist and around, well, the person, and he can go on the ground. I believe it's much more safer than this picture, right? Which is very normal situation in tropical climates. Now, the models and products, the fourth point, very important point as well, that we have real models. Many of them are already certified. and then many of them are under certification processes. So there are real models that run and are being tested every day. And then the new models are being well constructed and built constantly. So therefore, a lot of work has been already done. And what is a revolutionary is this model, the Unicont. And as I mentioned here, the monorail, what you can see on this slide, basically the Unicons, they can drive both above and below. So and the speed is about 80 to 100 kilometers per hour, comparing with the trucks, which take the same sea containers approximately 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, because, well, due to the traffic, due to the pauses that are mandatory, and so on. The fifth point is that the demand is everywhere today. This I also described in the beginning, that most of the main cities have all the transportation systems and structures already very well developed, but the problems still exist. And therefore demand is absolutely everywhere. Strong and professional team. We have currently working over 600 workers, top specialists, and the team is growing. We have a lot of different departments, 10 buildings. We have our own manufacturing facilities, and so on. So this also shows a great respect toward Anatoli Unitsky and his team, that they have been capable of doing this and achieving this. And it wouldn't be possible to do it without the team as well. So it's a win-win situation. And the seventh point, and the last point, what we cover today, is that it is financially beneficial. And here I can see two big sides. One is the customer, or for example, for government or the private company who will order the transportation system. And you can see on these price lists, which, well, this compares it with other technologies, similar technologies. And SkyWay is 10 and more times cheaper than most of the other technologies. And as you can see from previous points, it's much more beneficial as well in many well, aspects, yeah. Well, and now the news section. The second part, or the second party, or the group to whom it's beneficial as well, are investors, of course, because today we are in a 14th of stage of development, and we have a chance to invest in SkyWay and receive very valuable mother company shares, which means that wherever in the world the projects will be built, 20% of the profits will be divided among investors. And it's based on ground financing or crowdfunding mechanism. So there are no big investors and institutional investors yet, but most of the shares are divided between about 500 to 1 million people. So therefore, the power will remain in the company of SkyWay, and the decisions will be made to benefit both the company and investors as well, because investors will receive dividends and will be able to sell their shares in the future on the open market. But as you know, this year is also special because in a city called Khor Fakkan in United Arab Emirates, the first project was announced, the first United Arab Emirates project, and it will be fantastic. We'll see how this development goes. Then I believe it was last month, yes, last month, when they started testing the sea container transportation system, and the French television also covered this news. So this is also great. Basically, after every 1 or 2 months, we are in the news all over the world. And then today, I know I saw my colleagues showed me today the catalog, or the engineer artists, the architects and engineer brochure, or it's not brochure, but this is like a magazine in Vietnam, which is a very famous magazine, and there is about 10 pages about SkyWay. So this is huge. Then, as you might recall, quite recently, a ship was well got stuck in the Suez Canal and caused about $10 billion damage to the companies, and therefore they started. Well, the engineers there started to look for another solutions, and SkyWay also proposed our technology to make it more easier and sufficient transporting cargo there. Then Anatoli Unitsky recently talked about stage 15 and plans for the future. In summary, he mentioned that about in 2 years there we will see the high-speed Unibus, the 500 to 600 kilometers per hour driving vehicle. And he also told that all investors have to understand that we have to be patient. We have to, if possible, we should support also the project and then mostly be patient, because it all takes time. And as we know, the transportation sector is quite competitive, so it's not easy to get on the market there, but Anatoli Unitsky has done everything in his power and will continue to do so with his team to make it possible and make it reality. So more about all this you can read in your back office, and all the details and the news are also announced there. But soon we will move into next sub-stage, 14.2. That means that price of the shares will go higher, which means that we will receive less shares for the same amount of money that we do today. So if you consider to invest here, or consider inviting more people, or telling this project to other people, then I recommend you to hurry and then to do it now. So because after we have moved to 14.2 stage, we are one step closer to the end stages, which means that after the 15th of stage, we will this opportunity will go away. So to say, we will not be able to invest in the main company, but then there will be probably solutions or opportunities to invest in certain projects. But at the moment, we can benefit from all the projects all around the world. So yeah, 14.2 stage, go read it up in your back office and take action. And in the end, I would like to show you this picture as always, because a few years ago, Anatoli Unitsky went to Dalai-lama's residence, where he also told about SkyWay and showed the pictures to Dalai-lama. And his spirituality said that this is fantastic, that all the world needs it. And blessed Anatoli Unitsky even tied the red praise around Anatoli Unitsky's hand and said, "This will protect you." And what he mentioned more is that this road will not be easy, but eventually you will be successful and this all will work out. So I wish everybody a patience and a positive mind, and if possible, help the project, support the project financially. This is what we can do, and tell good about the projects and show it to other people as well. Because if we do not show them, or for example for our friends, and then after the project is successful and we will benefit it as an investors, then they will all come and say, "Why didn't you tell me?" and so on. So this is a great project to share, and I hope that you all understand and do the actions that are in everybody's best way for everybody. But the next webinar will take place exactly after 2 weeks, at the same time. And then the idea of the webinar is the same, but I will try to a little bit modify it, so to make it more maybe awesome to see and hear for the people who have been here more than once, or who have already listened and seen this presentation before. So I will try to make it as interesting as possible and bring all the awesome facts and the main ideas and aspects of this technology to you. But all right, thank you very much, and wish everybody a great continuing week and stay healthy. All right, and enjoy sun, of course, as well, if possible. Bye.